clear. Guys, let's talk about privacy. Alright guys, so here's what's going on. This is a big deal in the data protection, identification, privacy world, okay? What's going on, if you haven't heard, Mozilla and Proton Mail and a few others, quite a few others, mind you, have stepped up and written some letters to the UK policymakers, okay, that basically they don't want this identification shit going on. They don't want this ID stuff, you know, the whole Discord issue that happened recently, where they wanted all the, you know, oh, we gotta protect the children, y'all, gotta protect the children, gotta protect the children. It's always about the children. It's always about the children. Never mind the fact that it's about the parents. The parents' job is to protect the children, not the corporations, not Google, not YouTube, not Discord, no one else. It's the parents' job to protect the children. If the parents can't do it, it is a failure on the parents' part. That's it. Clean and simple. Corporations, government do not need to get involved. There is no discussion to be had here. I won't entertain it. I won't entertain the arguments for it. It's insane. We don't need it. So, with that said, let's dive right into it. I'm going to show you this article here. I'm going to read it out a little bit for those who are just listening, okay? But this is important, okay? So here we go. All right. Let me zoom in a little bit because it's tiny, okay? All right, here we go. So here's the deal. Privacy advocates, browser makers, VPN providers, and digital rights groups have signed a joint statement urging UK policymakers to abandon plans for broader online age verification requirements. Thank God. Warning that measures could undermine privacy, weaken internet openness, and expose users to increased surveillance risks. That goes without saying, guys. If you understand privacy, if you understand your data and how valuable it is, if you understand none of that, then understand this very basic fact. When you give your identity to a corporation, when you use ID Verify or whatever it is that they're using, okay, to capture your identity, that identity goes to a data center or a location, a server, and is stored on there, probably by the service that they're using. With that said, your data is kept on that server, okay? What happens when it's breached? What happens when it's hacked? Of course, it's a high-value target. People know about this. They want that data. They can get your ID, your name. They can use that. Bad actors can use your name for anything, just like your social security, your phone number, your email. It's all data. It's all money. It's valuable. It's worth a lot to these corporations. All right, so I probably don't need to explain all that. If you clicked on this, you're interested to see what's going on. You probably know a good bit about it, but just in case you don't, I'm going to keep reading this. Let's continue on. The open letter published by Open Rights Group comes as the UK government explores new online safety measures following the passage of the Children's Well-Being in Schools Bill. It's always about the children, guys. It's always about the children. Never about your data or taking away your privacy. It's the children. Okay. Signatories include Mozilla, Mullvad, VPN, Tor Project, Proton Mail, great company, great service, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, EFF, ExpressVPN, Tata, and the Internet Society, among others, okay? The coalition are, and also awesome on them, by the way, they know what they're doing, they actually give a shit. It's really important to have these people advocating for us because we're tiny to these corporations. But if other bigger businesses like Mozilla, like Proton, and so on, ExpressVPN get in there and get involved, it helps move mountains, okay? All right, so the coalition argues that proposed age gate requirements aimed at restricting minors' access to certain online features and services would inevitably force all users, not just children, to undergo intrusive age assurance checks. According to the statement, the resulting infrastructure could reshape the web into a fragmented and heavily monitored environment while failing to address the underlying causes of online harm. So yes, this is not a foundational fix. This doesn't solve any problems. It's very easy to get around. It's also very dangerous for people who try to abide by those rules, okay? It's very dangerous for them because their data is now online and it's easily hackable, which, again, it just happened. It just happened. Let me skip over to this really quick. I'm going to show you. This literally just happened. I'm just going to use this as an example. DuckDuckGo, simple. Use the little simple AI search. just to give you the gist, okay? So look here. A recent data leak from ID Merit. This is a huge corporation that does pretty much all of the ID verification stuff online, data collection, all the things you can imagine. Exposed approximately 1 billion identity records, including sensitive personal information like names, addresses, and social security numbers affecting individuals in 26 countries. Guys, that's absurd. That is ridiculous. This is a perfect reason, a reasonable argument as to why we do not want data collection. We do not want identification. The internet needs to remain anonymous. There are very few circumstances where you need to show your ID, and it needs to be very closely guarded. It is a serious thing, okay? Take this seriously, guys. It's not a joke. It's not like, oh, whatever, who cares? I don't have anything to hide. It's not about hiding. It's not about any of that. It's about your civil rights. And it's about people taking your data and your data getting stolen, okay? At bare minimum, if you care about nothing else, if you don't care about what Edward Snowden said or any other people before him or anyone, you don't care about any of it. You got to care about your data being stolen. You're not going to want someone to take your social security. You're not going to want someone to just, some random stranger taking your phone number and spamming it. Okay? That's what's happening. All right. So, the breach was discovered in November 2025. It goes back that far and involved over 203 million records from the United States alone. 203 million records from the United States. Let me put that in perspective. We are almost what, I don't know if we are now, but last year, what were we? 350 million population. You know, getting upwards of 400 million. Guys, this is over half of the United States population. Over half of the United States population. That's insane. Got data breached. These aren't little things like your phone numbers and emails and your name. It's your social security, your addresses. This is huge. And it's barely talked about. Mainstream news doesn't talk about it. Then maybe they'll whisper it, some bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. This is important. All right, let me go back to the website. I'm going to make this 400 minutes long. I really want to do that to y'all. Let's keep it simple. The UK government has increasingly focused on, and again, this is the UK, but this concerns all of us, okay? We come from the UK. All of this matters. It's really important. What happens in the UK affects us over here. What happens over here affects the UK. It's a huge deal, okay? It's very important. So let's not blow it off because it's the UK. It does matter. There's so many regulations, policies, whatever, what have you, that happens over there in the UK that affects us here. That's why it's such a big deal, okay? All right. They have increasingly focused on age verification and age estimation systems as part of its broader online safety agenda. Policymakers are currently consulting on whether platforms and digital services should implement age-based access restrictions, including curfews for younger users and feature limitations across online platforms. What does that sound like, guys? That's China. That's heading into North Korea territory, but China's like that. Everything's time limited and it's based on your age. You have to have a government issued ID and it's very specific. And you have to input that ID just to game. It's insane. Have you ever tried and play an online game that's in China, but you want to play it in advance so you can VPN yourself over to China? And then when you try and get into the game, it asks for your Chinese government ID. We don't want that shit here. We don't live those lives. We will never want that shit here. It's insane. And that's the direction we're going. It's happening in the UK and you see that shit happening here. Just look at Google. You may not understand this or realize this, but if you're a content creator, if you have access to your channel, look in there, try and use certain features, right? If you try and pin your comment as your channel at the top of the comment section, it says, won't let you pin your comment, but if you only if you show us your ID, we need to verify your age, give us all your information, your credit card info. You could use one of those. You could record your face for 7 to 10 seconds, or you could just show us your identification. I'm not doing any of that shit. I'm not doing it at all. And anyone who does, you're a moron. I'm sorry. Don't do it. You're selling yourself short. You're selling us all short. Don't do it. It's insane. This is the kind of stuff they sneak up on you. They do little bits at a time. ID verification for pinning your comment. What the fuck? Who does that? Identity verification for changing your thumbnail. For using A and B testing in thumbnails, where you can choose multiple thumbnails in YouTube and see which one performs better as a test. Well, you better give us your ID before you can use that. I mean, what? I can't stand it. This stuff makes me really mad because I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Louis Rossman's tired of it, and he gets mad like this too. You know how he feels about it. I feel that way, maybe even more. Me and him could probably go on a 12-hour rampage podcast or something and talk about it forever and just rant about privacy issues, technology, rights to repair. It's an insane world right now when it comes to technology. The policies and systems are way behind. Technology is just flying. All right, so moving on. Let's move. So this guy says here, Matthew Green, he says there's something ominous about the speed which The entire world has marched to require identification on platforms and, as I expected, begin the process of banning anonymous VPNs. This is for real, guys. This is a huge deal. There have been states in the United States that have tried to ban VPNs for porn, for child safety, okay? Again, with the child safety, it's always the reason, but it is not the real reason, okay? They just want to be able to control what you do. They want to connect all data across all states, the United States. They want to know who you are. They want to be able to monitor you. They want your data. They want to know what you're doing at all times. They don't want you using VPNs. It makes it really hard to identify you and figure out what you're watching. Are you pirating something? Are you watching something you shouldn't? We're a Jesus-loving state. We don't want you watching naughty stuff on the internet. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. Never was. This is overstepping. We got to do something about it. All right. So, the organizations signing the letter argue that mandatory age verification systems raise significant privacy and cybersecurity concerns because the volume of sensitive personal data required to verify users' identities or ages poses a significant risk. Obviously, you're putting all that data online. It's out there, it's a target, it gets stolen. As I just showed you, we just had a massive data breach that pretty much exposes everyone's data. No exceptions. It's insane. The groups pointed to previous incidents involving breaches of the UK government identification data, there you go, as evidence that centralized age verification systems can become attractive targets for attackers. No shit, right? They also warned that current age assurance technologies remain unreliable, inaccessible to some users, or dependent on invasive data collection practices such as biometric scans or government issue ID verification. I don't use my fingerprint or any of that stuff on the phones. We've seen that go wrong. We've seen that it's actually being collected, that it's actually, staying on the servers. It's not private. Don't do it. Maybe on Graphene OS, buy a Google phone, erase that garbage immediately because they're full of shit, and put Graphene OS on it. Then maybe you can do that. You don't have to worry about it because it's all localized. It can always be localized, guys. That means it's on your phone. It's on your device. It doesn't reach outside of your phone. The fact that it can always be that way means that they just want your data. It's not necessary, but they make it necessary. All right. So, here's the issue. Beyond privacy concerns, the signatories claim that proposals could alter the structure of the internet itself. They argue that widespread age gating requirements may strengthen the influence of major platform operators and app stores by pushing users into closed ecosystems where identity verification is easier to enforce. According to the coalition, this could further erode the decentralized and interoperable nature of the open web. Okay. Yeah, that goes without saying. Okay, so moving on, let me show you a couple other things. I'm not really going to read these out. I'm just going to point out a couple things, okay? So scientists slam the brakes on rushed age verification laws for teens. You zoom in on this. You can pause and read it if you want. I'm not going to read this whole thing. But more than 400 security and privacy researchers and scientists from 30 countries have signed an open letter warning that proposal online age verification laws are flawed. And this is obvious. It goes without saying. I just wanted to show you this, that there are a lot of people who are concerned about big names, big wigs, people who actually have merit behind all of this, for the most part. They're worried about it as well. It's a huge deal. So moving on to the next little segment here. EU calls VPNs a loophole that needs closing in age verification push. I'm not going to read all this once again, but here's the point. They talked about VPNs in the other article, and you can see here what's going on. This was May 8th, 2026, okay? Oh, here. I got to reverse, okay? It's like mirrored. So, this was what, a week ago? This is the issue, guys. This is what they're going to try and do. We saw it here in the States. In some states, they tried to ban VPNs. This is completely against your rights. This cannot happen at all. VPNs are extremely important for your privacy. No data collection. It's much harder to data collect, using a VPN. These ISPs, these internet services, they're collecting your data. They're looking at everything you're doing. They're selling it. I don't want anything to do with it. This is my information. This is my data. What I search and what I do is my business, not yours. I pay you $120, $130 a month. Get out of my way. Shut the fuck up. We're moving on. All right. So, once again, here we are. ID merit data breach, 1 billion records of personal data exposed. All right. So this is a huge deal, guys. Here's a good little chart here. Look at this. Look at this shit. Look at that. Look at how many people. 204 million in the United States, 12 million in Canada, 60 million in Germany, 4 million in Norway, 9 million in Greece, 49 million in Turkey. I'm not going to read all this. This is way too much. 123 million in Mexico. This is huge. This isn't a little thing. So let's all take some extra steps to our privacy, okay? It's so important because what you do affects others around you. What we do, we all affect each other. Whatever we do, we affect each other. we're just on this little planet, this little blueberry, okay? Everything we do affects one another. So it's really important to get on this together. If you don't agree with the other reasons, okay? You can agree that you don't want your data taken and exploited. And don't let them lie to you and tell you that, hey, we've got the most ultimate security system ever. It will never happen again. It happens every year, guys. It happens monthly. Every year, monthly, every year, over and over, the same story. Data breach. And you wonder how they got a hold of your credit card info, your social security. This is why. And there's no accountability. Can you sue these people who did this? If, oh, hey guys, I just found out that my credit card got stolen. Well, I can go ahead and assume that it was because of this. Let me go sue that company. Good luck with that. It's not going to happen. So this shit needs to stop. This is not how to do things. This is not how it's going to be in the future. This is not how it should be going forward. 100 years from now, we're not going to be doing this shit. This is the answer. It's not the solution, okay? Okay. So that's it for now. This is kind of, I can go on for a really long time. I don't want to make this too long, guys. I want it bearable for you and myself. I get a little bit heated on stuff like this because I'm tired of it. This has been going on for decades. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And then it gets better and then it gets worse. It's just back and forth. It's always a battle. That's just the reality that we live in on this little blueberry planet, okay? Let's help each other. Stay educated, stay informed. Be careful what you do with your data. Don't just give it away willy-nilly. I know they always like to hide it behind conveniences. That's our biggest weakness. It would be convenient if I could just pin my comment, you know, and I could just show my picture real quick. Don't do it. Say no, because if you say yes, then I'll have to do it eventually if I want normal functionality on my channel, which I won't do. So I'm just fucked. I'm screwed. Okay? So don't do it, guys. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.